All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm not able to do anything fancy with this one. I just wanted to cover it really quick because I think it's really important. Not too long ago, there was a move by the FDA to get rid of flavored cigarettes. And when they did the studies, all of the flavored cigarettes, like hardly any of them had any sales. The top um, the top gross earned sale in flavored cigarette was menthol, and they didn't discontinue that one, but all the other ones they didn't make nearly as many sales as menthol, and yet they got rid of things like cloves and like what were the camel ones called, like the Ismar Stingers. And I just found out about this recently that the head of the U.S. Food, and I heard it more than just CNN too, by the way. I heard it on news radio. The head of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration took aim Wednesday at Juul and other e-cigarette manufacturers, warning that they must show in the next 2 months. 2 months. When was the publication of this again? Oh, yeah, September 14th. So, in the next 2 months. Oops, I went a little too far. There we go. How they'll keep the devices out of the hands of young people. Nothing of an epidemic surge, or noting an epidemic surge in teen use of e-cigarettes. FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott warned the FDA might require companies to change their sales and marketing practices, stop distributing products to retailers who sell to kids, and remove flavored e-cigarette products from the market. Now, the thing is like, if you have a problem with people ingesting nicotine, I think that's a personal problem. Like, it's kind of like me as an atheist, I'm annoyed by Christianity, but I don't think that I should make it illegal to practice Christianity. I mean, yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch of a comparison because smoking is correlated, or not even correlated. It's highly related to a lot of illnesses, like cancer and respiratory problems. But the thing is that I don't like is that there's always somebody out there that says, "Well, I know what's best for you." And it's like, well, let's talk about what improves quality of life. Like, if I want to vape, if I want to smoke cigarettes, it's really not anyone else's concern but mine. I know a lot of people want to try and say that that's not the case because of loved ones or what have you, but this is an individual choice. And you have to think about it when, like, they're coming across like, oh, think of the poor children, think of the poor children. And I haven't watched much of this video yet, but the problem that I see so far is that they don't really talk about that e-liquids come in nicotine. They come without nicotine. Not all of them have nicotine. Like every flavor that I have found, you can get it without nicotine. And they don't talk about how many cigarette smokers have used e-cigarettes and vaping to quit smoking. And actually, I quit smoking because I started vaping, but I didn't want to quit smoking. I just kind of vaped for a couple days and then took one drag of a cigarette, and my tonsils like just went poof. And honestly, like it's been for the better. I mean, I don't wake up with a puddle of mucus in the back of my throat anymore, and it's just an awful taste in your mouth in the morning. Certain taste and smell of food came back to me. So they don't talk about, I don't think they brush on any of that, but there's all this like, oh, teen smoking. And that's another thing I don't agree with, is that in some states, I'm not sure which ones did this or where it applies to, if not everywhere, but they increased the legal age to buy cigarettes up to 21. And the thing about that is that you're not really going to resolve anything by doing that. If somebody is underage and they want to smoke cigarettes, they're going to find a way to get them. It's the same with anything that we've made illegal. If you make it illegal, people are still going to find a way to get it. Some people in the vaping world will even say that this is a push from the tobacco industry because they're mad that they're encroaching on the territory. But I don't see why R.J. Reynolds or I forget who owns. Is it just Marlboro owns Marlboro, or is that a different company? But they can start making e-cigarettes and they can start making like e-liquids. They can do this. So I don't know. I hate this argument, but think about the poor children, because it's like these are people who are making an individual choice to do this, and you can't stop it no matter what. When I started smoking, I was only, I think, 12 or 13 years old. And the reason why I started smoking cigarettes was not because of peer pressure or anything like that. It was because everybody told me not to do it. And so I wondered, well, why? And so I tried one. And I liked it. And I smoked for a long time until I started vaping. My respiratory system has cleared up. And a lot of other things have changed. So I'm really opposed to this, and I really don't like the idea of them getting rid of the flavors, because if you get rid of the flavors, then what you're left with is basically menthol and tobacco. And it's like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose. Like, well, it doesn't defeat the purpose, but it's like you quit cigarettes, you don't want to go back and vape something that tastes like shit. But anyway, let's see what the video has to say.
In Milford, Connecticut, high school principal Francis Thompson is desperately trying to snuff out a problem.
Let me do this so you don't hear an echo.
They would come in here, you'd have 4 or 5 kids at a time congregating, and they'd start to vape.
It's a trend that many parents are not even aware of. But e-cigarette use, or vaping, has grown an astonishing 900% among high school students in recent years, according to the survey's end.
But they don't compare it to tobacco.
Survey,
oh, now they do. Okay.
1.7 million high school students and 500,000 middle schoolers had used e-cigarettes.
No, they still didn't talk about the tobacco use.
In Rentham, Massachusetts, Assistant Vice Principal Spencer Christie.
Because my question is it really an increase in people using a tobacco product?
Now it's moved to students vaping in hallways, vaping in classrooms.
In the back, 2 desks in the corner. They had their hands kind of up like this, and there was a blue light coming from between their hands.
The most popular item, which is the Juul, and as you can see, it looks like a flashlight. It's not. And then the kids can just tuck it away when they're done. So
it's not just the design of these products. Critics say all these flavors also entice kids to start vaping. One study out of Harvard found some of these artificial flavors contain diacetyl. That's a chemical linked to severe respiratory disease.
The kids that I talk to believe that there's nothing in there that's dangerous. They don't think there's
Diacetyl. Most of the e-liquids that I get are propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin. So I don't know what they're talking about on that.
anything more than water.
It's not water. It's called e-liquid. And when heated by the coil, it changes to an aerosol. Columbia University researchers using this machine found the vapor has toxic metals like chromium, nickel, zinc, and lead.
They stopped using metals that do that, by the way.
And as we know, there is no safe level of lead. With very little regulation, people are not fully aware of what they're consuming. I sat down with the FDA Commissioner, Scott Gottlieb, and asked him about this e-cig phenomenon.
Youth use is deeply concerning to me. We're going to be taking some enforcement actions very soon to target companies that we think are marketing products in ways that they're deliberately appealing to kids. I'm going to be having conversations with some of these
I don't think they're
companies, trying
deliberately
to,
appealing to kids.
inspire them, if I can, to take more corrective actions on their own.
Don't forget, nicotine is one of the most addictive substances out there.
I think it's the next epidemic among teenagers.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN, reporting.
All right. I was gonna try and play some other shit. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Maybe if I scroll down, it'll stop. Okay. Okay, so they talked about the number of people who were using, or the number of kids using these.
I think if someone had their choice of cigarette or an e-cigarette, obviously e-cigarettes I think would be safer. But compared to fresh air...
Stop. But they don't talk about, like, if we go back several years before we had e-cigarettes and vape mods and e-liquid and such, what was the percentage rate? What was the rate of kids that were smoking tobacco products? And is that a big differential in the amount of people that were smoking and the amount of students that were smoking cigarettes versus the amount of students that are vaping, or is it roughly about the same? That's what I would be curious as to know. I haven't looked at that yet, but I do intend on looking at it. I just wanted to bring this to people's attention because, again, we're forcing mandations on everyone else based off of, other people's, like, dislike of something. I mean, if I wanted to play this game, I could come out and be in support of higher taxation on sugar and chocolate and sweets and junk food, and proclaim that it has to do with an obesity crisis in the United States, but, basically hurt the consumer by buying the wrong types of food. This is something... well, this is a lot of hype. A generation addicted. No, probably not. It's the same as it's ever been. I'd be willing to bet. But I don't know. I'd have to look. There's other forms of this that they do, other than taxizing. Like, they've brought this. They wanted to make a bill about that at one point, where they wanted to overtaxize junk food, and it was wrapped in the guise of an obesity epidemic, but really it's a way of controlling consumerism, and it's very authoritarian, and I don't like it. I don't like it when anybody comes in and says, I don't want you to do this, and I know what's best for you. And it's like, well, that's nice, but, I mean, you're going to try and take something away from a lot of people that they really enjoy. And, if anybody thinks that it's good for them, that it's not bad for them, then that's ridiculous. I don't know anybody that smokes that doesn't realize that it's bad for them. A lot of people just don't care. It's life choices. You could eat fattening, like, bacon products your whole life, and that's not anything that we pass legislation on, but we're going to tell people that, the kids are in danger, and the reason why is because there's different flavors of e-liquid. And you use the kids as kind of your scapegoat. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe, and all the funny things with the bell button. And with that, out. I would also like to add, as usual, the links to the article, the link to the CNN article will be in the description below, as well as a link to the Google search for other articles as well. And sorry about the crappy video quality. For some reason, my software was acting up, so hopefully I'll get that resolved. I'm pretty sure I will. Take care.